All right, what is up? Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and revisiting the Express Play version of Glory Days Boxing. And again, this was pioneered by Jason Graham at Flash Games, so please check out that wonderful channel. He does, besides boxing, a lot of different football stuff. And again, a big shout out to him for coming up with this idea. Extremely creative and a good way to get a hybrid game in between the full 9-segment Glory Days boxing play style and the quick play chart, which comes with the game. So before I get started, I'm just going to go ahead and go through this fight. First of all, I wanted to do this fight because it's a clash of styles. Nicolino Locche, probably one of the best defensive fight history of the sport, against Irish Mickey Ward, who was not a stellar defensive fighter. And basically, I wanted to see how these styles interact. This is a fight I expect to go 10 rounds, so I want to see how that plays out in terms of speed of play over a 10-round fight. And before we get started, I'm going to quickly go over each scenario. So the initial roll is always going to be the regular control roll for that full minute of the segment, which again, the express play alternative method, we go instead of 20-second segments, a minute at a time. So basically a third of the rolls. So you establish ring general control, and then whoever has momentum gets the high 1d6 added to their punch total right off the bat for that segment. And the low roll, or the fighter without momentum, gets the low roll added to their punch total. And what this does is populate punches for the 2 segments that we do not simulate. And it's probably a little bit high, but I'm really not going to tweak it any further. Over the course of a fight, it doesn't have a huge impact in terms of stamina, endurance, that type of thing. So I'm going to leave that as is. In addition to that, you will roll of course, the 2d10s and get whatever result happens. So I'm going to go over each scenario based on ring general control. Say if one fighter has control and the other fighter is on defense. So what we'll do is, once that fighter, if they land, the fighter that lands or is in control lands, we will then do 3 1d20s, and this is to capture a chin check or check for each segment of that 1 minute period. So if any of these pass, you will then roll the dice again. Say, and Locche is probably a terrible example because he has no power, but say we get a 1 there. So we read these red, white, and blue. So basically what that means is during the first 20-second segment of this 1 minute express play segment, Locche has a chin check on Ward. So once this is established, I would roll the 3 dice again and apply the red die, the die that came up that passed the power check towards chin check. He is good there, so no effect from the punch. The other 2 dice would go to his defensive rating. So this is above, and you see this one, he's actually going to take a punch away from whatever Locche landed. That is extremely rare for Mickey Ward, but worked out this time. So why do I do this? Basically, like I mentioned, doing this method where you add the 2d6s for additional punch totals during a 1 minute segment, the punch totals tend to be a little bit high. So what this does by giving the fighter defensive checks up to 3 for that segment is kind of adjust that and tweak it a little bit, good or bad, depending on how good the fighter is defensively. So if, say, Locche had not passed any power checks, all 3 of these would have been a defensive check for Mickey Ward, and he would have ended up taking 1 point away. So that is the reason I'm doing that. Hey, what's up? Speak of the devil. The man himself is here, Jason. Now, if it's a toe-to-toe, so say both fighters have 2 stars or whatever, then, of course, you roll punches landed for both in addition to what they would get here. So roll for each of them, track their punches here. And then obviously there's no defense at all in a toe-to-toe. So you then roll the power checks for the fighter with momentum. If this was Locche, he would have no power checks. Roll it then for Ward, and Ward actually would have one chin check on Locche, and that would come, again, red, white, and blue in the first part of that 1 minute segment. So you would then roll a chin check for Locche. Locche is pretty hard to put down. Initially 7, he is fine. So that's how that works. So 3 dice incorporated in all chin checks and defensive checks, either toe-to-toe or when one fighter has control. If a foul comes up, foul, I do not roll 3 dice because the foul segment is just going to be a single segment, and would just roll 1d20 then to see if a foul did indeed occur. Same thing with with cut checks. If there was a cut check, you would roll however many cut checks came up for that 1 minute segment. You would roll for those, and then the additional die would be again a defensive check. Clinch. Clinch, you can play either the optional rule or the base rule. The base rule would be there is no action for that entire minute outside of what is credited for the 2d6. And again, this is another balancing feature. So they do get, it's not a minute of boring clinching and holding on. It's punches landed and then one of the segments ends up in a clinch. Or you could use the optional rule where you allow the first punch to get through, then the fighter grabs. And then finally, the last piece of this is counter checks. If a fighter misses and they're in control, bang. Do not roll 3d20s again because we already have this supplementing punch totals during a 1 minute segment. So there I only roll 1d20 for a possible additional 2 punches landed. So that's the reasoning behind each scenario, and I think I pretty much have it covered completely. And yeah, 1 minute of slow dancing, a la Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather. And my wife said, why don't you hug me as much as Logan Paul hugged Floyd Mayweather in that fight? So not only is she sharp and a boxing fan, but always raising the bar for me. So that's basically it. So we're just going to go ahead and play at this point. And we are 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes into this video. So we'll start at the 8 minute mark, and I'm just going to go ahead and play through and see how this works. Oh, one last thing too. If a fighter is, for a possible, when a fighter's hurt where you have the unopposed, they're still going to get to land, and this meaning them, the hurt fighter, will still get the punches on the D6. Again, meaning they're not going to be hurt for the entire minute. It's only going to be a third of that. And then you would only do a single will check if 3 punches landed during that segment for the other fighter. So that's it. Hey, Rich, welcome, my friend. Hey, thank you. Now, appreciate that. And yeah, if you have any questions, if you're on Facebook, there's a Facebook group, or you can shoot me an email with any questions at glorydaysgames19@yahoo. So appreciate you looking into the game, my friend. And again, what we're doing here is an alternate play method, a express play method, if you will, where instead of 9 segments around, it's only 3. And we're going to go ahead and get that started. So now I'm at 8:30, so we'll start from there. And Nicolino Locche, one of the defensive wizards of the sport, against the less than wizardry in terms of defense, Irish Mickey Ward. Here we go. All right, so Locche is going to come out, and he's going to grab control from the inside, 65. So again, he has momentum, 6 punches for Locche. For those, again, that makes up for the segments we're not doing, 3 for Ward. And that is going to be a miss for Locche. So 1 countering opportunity for Irish Mickey Ward, and look at him, gets a couple of shots in. We go to the 2nd minute. All right, again, Locche dancing around from the outside, in control, 77. He is going to miss again, but he's going to get those 3 punches, 1 for Irish Mickey Ward, and 1 counter opportunity. Mickey Ward boxing like Sweet Pea Whittaker with the counters here early in this one. And final segment of the round, it's Locche from the outside. It's going to be a toe-to-toe exchange, and Locche goes first. He misses. So again, Locche is going to get those 6 punches. I'm going to quit saying that now. I'm just going to do it. And Irish Mickey Ward fires back 93, and that is going to be a clinch. So that ends the segment and the round. All right, punches landed in round number 1. It's going to be a 15 for Locche. And another thing that'll be interesting in this fight is how their trades match up. And 10 for Irish Mickey Ward. And we will go to the judges. 5-punch differential. And first round is in the books. Round number 2. Here we go. Let's reset. 3-minute segment. Here we go. Locche from the inside and fighting 2 stars from the inside. Pretty rare that he is there. He's going to get 2 punches to 1. And Locche, 26 from the inside. A slick 3-punch combination lands. And let's do our chin check rolls. Locche and again Ward. Probably going to hold up to whatever Locche hits him with, and we will do our 3 defensive rolls for Mickey Ward. And Mickey Ward, there's the Mickey Ward we know and love, adding a punch to the total. 2 minutes left in the second round. Locche is going to go from the outside. It's going to be 2 stars. It's going to be a toe-to-toe exchange from the outside with 2 stars, 96 and 96. That is going to be a foul. So again, Locche will get his 5 punches landed, and Ward gets his 4, and then the additional punch for the foul. And then Mickey Ward, his toe-to-toe exchange is 79. He's going to straighten and foul check for Locche. His foul rating is a 4 because, again, we have Larry Hazard refereeing, and he increases that by 1. No foul. Fight goes on. Last minute of the round. Locche, again, works the inside, takes control, and Locche, a big salvo there. 29, he's going to get a slick 3-punch combination in addition to the 6 for land he got for the 2d6 rolls. And finally, chin checks. No power checks and a no defensive adjustment as round number 2 comes to a close. 21-6 is the punch total there. Our good friend Al, Red Sox fan, has joined us ringside. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, power. Yeah, power check first, then chin check if any of those pass. Correct. I've caught myself doing that a couple of times actually. So scoring for this round, a big difference for Locche, and this could possibly be a 10-8 round. It was so decisive. But the judges have their scoring in, and Irish Mickey Ward is getting his ears boxed off early in this one as we go to round number 3. Yes, and happy Father's Day as applicable, guys in the chat. Appreciate that. Thank you. Round number 3, and Locche from the outside once again is in control of 42. It's going to be 3 punches each for the 2d6s, and then a couple more for Locche. Chin checks or power checks, no, and defensive checks, no. Down to minute 2. I feel pretty comfortable right now with this particular setup. So 4, I think this will probably I ride with in terms of utilizing this express play method. All right, so on to the next segment. We'll do our 2d6 punch totals. And at 99, we're going to the event chart. First time that has happened in testing this. So let's see what that has in store for us. 69. 69 on the event chart is going to be fighter scores 2 punches, then showboats excessively, no action next segment. So that could be very Nicolino Locche-like, and that takes us to the end of the round. All right, 11-5 as Locche slows down the pace and is playing with Ward from the outside, 6-punch differential. I'm getting a lot more comfortable in this too, in terms of the express play method, and you see the rounds pretty much fly by doing this. So we're into round number 4 already, and again, we started this at about the 8:40 mark of me talking. So we'll see how long a full 10-rounder takes as we move on to round number 4. It's going to be 2 stars from the outside. Locche in control. Locche is going to miss. 3-1 there. And looking to counter is Irish Mickey Ward. Doesn't do it. 2 minutes to go in the round. Locche is going to be 1 star from the outside. Locche remains in control. Do our punch totals, and 27 from the outside. That's going to be a 3-punch combination for Nicolino. Power checks, no. Defensive adjustments, no. And final minute of the round. And Locche is going to get a big boost here with 6 punches landed on his, actually I better make sure he's in control first of all. Cards from the inside, he is in control. And 2 punches for Mickey Ward. And from the inside, 24. That's going to be another 3-punch salvo for Nicolino Locche. Power check. And Locche, again, feather-fisted is part of his trait, and Mickey Ward eats all those punches. So another decisive round for Locche. And kind of what I expected / hoped for in this, because, again, Locche, very slick boxer. Mickey Ward, more of a plodding fighter, and 17-4, 13-punch differential. And 13-punch differential, that is going to go to Locche. So thus far, Locche pitching pretty much a shutout in this fight as we go to round number 5. And our good friend Matt Steeler, fan, has joined us. Thank you very much for joining us ringside here as we get into the 5th round. Again, the express play variant, it's going to be a toe-to-toe. So this is going to be a crazy segment for these 2 guys. Locche goes first. And masterful boxing, actually, first of all, it's from the outside, so that is going to be a 4-punch salvo for Locche, and we're going to have our first double triple power checks as we move to the 2-minute mark, and power checks Locche, no. Mickey Ward, he needs a 4 or less, no. Actually, he's got 1, so chin check for Locche, and Locche shakes that off, no problemo. 2 minutes to go on the round, and it's going to be Locche, no stars. And finally, Mickey Ward from the outside, 67. He's going to miss, though. And we'll get credit for those 6 punches, however. And counting opportunity for Locche, 7. And Locche, a good counter puncher. He's going to get a couple in last minute of the round. Locche from the outside in control once again, 56. That is going to be a miss. He is going to get those 6 punches, though, and 5 for Mickey Ward. So, again, this is the one area that gets a little sketchy sometimes. Mickey Ward looking to counter now is our punch volume. I'm just going to leave it as is, though. It's probably going to make a difference in terms of stamina running out maybe a round too soon versus what it would happen in the regular long play version of the game. And in the case of Locche in particular, his punch output is rarely this high in a long play game. All right, 2-punch differential and closest round of the fight. This is one that Mickey Ward might actually get. We shall see. And we are on to round number 6. Mickey Ward is out of stamina now. I think the one adjustment I might make doing this to make up for the stamina, additional stamina that comes off, is probably recommend adding 10 stamina to a 10-rounder fight and 15 to a 12 or 15-rounder fight. Because I don't want to mess with the punches landed, quite honestly, because it doesn't seem like there's a sweet spot in between, adding just a set number versus using the 2d6 like I'm doing here. All right, so it's going to be Locche. The other thing, and Jason came up with this too. I didn't do it last time, but for toe-to-toe, I'm going to add the lowest 1d6 to both both five totals. And again, when I do a formal rule breakout on this, that'll all be explained and bullet pointed. So Locche 2 stars, it's going to be a toe-to-toe exchange from the inside, and Mickey Ward, the last had control, so he's going to go first. After first getting his 6 punches. And on the toe-to-toe exchange, now both fighters get +1, so that's going to be 4. Locche's trade, part of his trade, is going to take 1 away, so that knocks it back down to 3. And Locche now on his toe-to-toe exchange, and 54, he's going to miss. Power checks for Mickey Ward, and Locche takes all those punches, no problem. And we go on to the next 1-minute segment. And one's going to be 2 stars for Locche and another toe-to-toe exchange. So Mickey Ward having a good, giving a good accounting for himself here. And it's going to go what the role is, again, with both traits basically, at least Locche's trait counteracting the Mickey Ward trait. Mickey Ward is still going to get credit for 5 big punches landed, however, so he's pouring it on Locche. Locche fires back, and Locche will get an additional 1 punch landed here, so that's a 4-punch combo. And we do our power checks for Mickey Ward. And Ward is going to have 1 chin check on Locche, and 17, Locche shakes it off. That is one part I like thus far. The power seems to be, or the knockdown chances seem to pretty much be on pace with what happens in the game. All right, here we go. Locche is finally going to take control as both fighters get an additional 3 punches landed. A good round for Ward. And Locche, though, from the outside, 45, that's going to be 2 punches landing. And power checks, and Locche no. Defensive checks for Mickey Ward, and Mickey Ward eats all those punches. That's the end of the round. And best round of the fight for Ward, 21-14 in terms of punches landed. One thing I did not do is actually, I should be 17. I should be deducting because Ward is fatigued. So focused on the other components, I missed that one. All right, now for the judges. So that's going to make it a 3-punch differential. And Ward is the high scorer. We're on to round number 7. And Locche still has 14 stamina left. Ward, second round, second full round fatigue. Here we go. So quick chat. This is in accord with the full sim, and the score sheet will resemble the full score sheet as well. And I think you should add the difference between ring general stars to higher rated fighters. So Locche, so there, when you say Locche, Al, when you say Locche would have a +3 and Ward only a +1, is that like punches landed, you mean, for that segment? 6-1 as we get ready to go on number 7, Locche. Going to be 2 stars, and Mickey Ward, no stars, Locche in control from the inside at 27. Or 28, sorry, and 28 is going to be a slick 3-punch combo for Nicolino. Power checks, and no. Defensive checks, 3. Ward's going to add a punch there. Holy crap, 6s and big action here. 65 and 6s, that's going to be Locche in control. He is going to miss, and counter an opportunity for Mickey Ward. He misses as well. Last minute of the round. Heavy leather, it's going to finish a toe-to-toe exchange. So Locche goes first with momentum, and 85 toe-to-toe exchange is going to come from the outside. That is going to be a miss. And Mickey Ward, he's going to miss as well, and that is the round. So 21 punches to 12 there. 9-punch differential on the interesting. Sometimes the judges see something we do not as we head into round number 8. All right, here we go. 5-3. It's going to be outside at 2 stars for Locche, and Locche is in control again. 86 from the outside is going to be a miss. So he will get his other segment punches, and Ward misses on the counter. And once again, a Locche in control from the outside. 35 and 35. That's going to be a slick 3-punch combination. Puts Locche up to 11, and our power checks. Jay is actually going to have a chin check, so Ward. And again, his chin KD rating is reduced by 2 due to Locche's safety first trait, which includes feather-fisted. So blue has to be a 1, and that is no issue. And actually on the defensive checks, he's going to add 2 more punches to Locche's total. Last minute of the round. And Locche is going to be 1 star, and he's in control. So Locche from the outside, a 30, and that is going to be another slick 3-punch combination. Power checks, I'm going to have a cut check for Ward. That'll be the red die, and Ward is cut, no defensive adjustments. So Ward sustained some facial trauma here, 14. It's going to be a gash on the left eye, and that's going to bring out a potential stoppage. So ringside doctor taking a look at that, 1-4. This fight is over. It's the first time it's happened. 3, and Lee thought about it and ended the fight. Wow. Unbelievable. So that end is going to come in the 7th segment. So Locche brutalizes Ward, outboxes him, and slices him up, and it's going to be a TKO on cuts at the 2:03 mark of round number 8. Due to cuts, your winner, Nicolino Locche, and that again is the express version. So again, we started this at so that was less than 20 minutes to play close to a full 10-round fight. So which collected with my talking and whatnot, probably about 18 minutes of actual gameplay. So you can see, you know, that would put a full 10-rounder like around 20 minutes or so. So you could play a full 10-round fight using the express method in half the time that you could play out a full play version using all 9 segments of a round. So again, you know, another option for those that don't want to use a quick play chart, but sometimes want to speed up their fights. This is the hybrid, and I'll be finalizing these rules over the next few days and have something up on the Sideline Strategy webpage as well as a Facebook group next week. So again, a big shout out to Jason Graham for getting the juices, for coming up with this idea and getting my creative juices flowing, and appreciate him again offering this to the community and also collaborating on it with me. So great job on that, Jason. And let's see. Yeah, really good. Again, if you're doing a career thing, this gets you through a lot of those fighters, you know, a lot of those early fights quickly, and you have a higher, a more normalized, I guess I should say, stoppage chance than you do on just a straight quick play chart. So appreciate everyone joining us again. Flash Sports, check out that channel. Jason Graham, the brainchild. This is his brainchild. Rich Verling, thanks for stopping by. Al, Red Sox fan, of course, check out that wonderful channel. Got a lot of stuff going on. And down the road, Al and I will be doing a chat next month sometime with Joe Bryan, the creator of Payoff Pitch Baseball, who also distributes Glory Days Boxing through his website, which I appreciate. And Matt, Steeler fan 1933, thank you as always. John Wise, thanks for stopping in. And happy Father's Day to everyone as applicable. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you later. If you don't mind, hit that like button on the way out, guys, and have a great day.